If you're planning to dine at one of these places tonight, hold off on that fork and listen up first. Beneath the soothing tunes and overflowing bread baskets, the kitchen chaos might kill your appetite before the first bite hits. This isn't about picky eaters. We're talking microwaved meals, mislabeled dishes, and a recipe for total disorder. So, before you dive in, let's kick off with a restaurant that vows cozy vibes but serves up a puzzling mess. Let's go to the first restaurant, Panera Bread, the place where office meetings go to feel cultured and where salads come with inspirational quotes. The branding screams clean eating, warmth, real ingredients. But the reality, a little less wholesome and a whole lot more microwaved. A former employee once said Panera was not a bakery cafe. It was a glorified break room with soup buckets. The famous broccoli cheddar soup delivered frozen in plastic bags heated in boiling water, then served in a bread bowl like it was handcrafted by some apron-wearing artisan. Spoiler: the only thing handmade is the receipt. The mac and cheese, also frozen. It became so widely known that even Panera leaned into the joke, with a TikTok showing a worker slicing open the plastic pouch like it was fine dining in a dorm room. And those sandwiches, the meats and cheeses, are pre-sliced, portioned, and pulled from plastic bins. Avocados are often pre-mashed. The ciabatta rolls might look fresh-baked, but they arrive par-baked and get crisped up in turbo ovens, which is just a fancy name for toaster ovens that scream. You might expect all this from a fast food joint, but Panera prices itself like it is above that. You are paying premium dollars for what amounts to upscale vending machine meals. A salad and a bowl of soup can run you nearly $20. And that does not include the sneaky upcharge for real chicken or the $2 extra to substitute a healthier side. You want an apple instead of chips? Better get your wallet ready. Let us talk about safety. Multiple reports from health departments across the country have flagged Panera locations for holding cold items above safe temperatures, meaning your turkey sandwich might come with a bonus bacteria surprise. A former line worker shared that the prep line's refrigeration often breaks during rush hours, and instead of stopping, staff just keep pushing food out because the corporate clock does not wait for cooling systems. Even the pastries, which look like they were flown in from a European village, are baked from frozen dough and often sit in the display case all day. The croissants might have more fingerprints than flakiness. And the muffins, left out until they are hard enough to chip a tooth. But hey, they still come with cute little chalkboard signs, so they must be fresh, right? Now, if Panera Bread is the health-conscious illusionist, then P.F. Chang's is the theatrical magician. Walk in, and you're greeted by dark wood, golden dragons, and dim lighting that whispers elegance. But behind the rice bowls and decorative statues lies a kitchen that has more drama than a reality show reunion. The lettuce wraps may be iconic, but that iceberg lettuce comes in by the crate, pre-cut, and vacuum-sealed. The fillings pre-mixed, pre-marinated, and portioned days in advance. One chef compared it to assembling Legos with soy sauce. The sauces, sesame, hoisin, teriyaki, are made from large vats of pre-blended base liquids shipped in from corporate suppliers. And yes, those vats are stored in plastic bins that have been flagged in multiple locations for grime buildup and cross-contamination. One inspector found traces of raw chicken near the sesame oil container. That is not fusion. That is food poisoning on a schedule. Then there is the wok cooking. The flames look dramatic from the dining room, but in reality, most proteins are par-cooked beforehand to save time. That stir-fried shrimp flash boiled earlier in the day, tossed in oil at the last second, and plated like it just came from the sea. A former employee said the goal during dinner rush was speed over quality. If the shrimp was not fully thawed, it still hit the wok. The heat will finish it, they said. That is not confidence, that is negligence with garnish. The rice pre-steamed in massive batches, the noodles pre-packaged and dumped into hot water like a dorm recipe with better plating. And let us talk about the cleanliness. Health records have shown violations from improperly stored raw meats to sinks filled with dirty utensils, while staff used plastic forks to serve guests. At one location, the dishwasher broke mid-shift, and instead of stopping service, they rinsed everything with hot water and a prayer. But the illusion is strong. Dim lights, oversized plates, fancy fonts on the menu. You feel like you are at a luxury spot, so your brain stops questioning what your stomach is about to receive. And the prices only deepen the deception. A single entree can cost $20 to $30. Add a drink and an appetizer, and suddenly your dinner costs more than your weekly groceries, but at least you get a fortune cookie, right? One that might say, "You are what you eat." Hopefully not. Both Panera Bread and P.F. Chang's have one thing in common. They look clean, they sound healthy, they feel safe, but looks can be deceiving and flavor can be faked. You're not just paying for food, you are paying for the performance. A show made of branding, ambient music, and corporate-tested flavor profiles that keep you distracted long enough to ignore the shortcuts. And by the time the check arrives, the only fresh thing on the table might be your disappointment. Next, let us talk about Ruby Tuesday, the chain that once promised a simple, fresh American dining experience. What you actually get a crash course in how far frozen food can travel and still be called fresh. Former employees have described the kitchen as a freezer aisle with a microwave attached. Almost everything from the chicken tenders to the mashed potatoes comes in vacuum-sealed plastic, often labeled by weight, not by flavor. One ex-in cook said they could prep a dinner shift without turning on a single burner. The salad bar, their proud centerpiece, tells its own story. The lettuce is bagged and pre-chopped. The tomatoes often arrive already diced in preservative water. And the pasta salad spooned from tubs that have expiration dates longer than some relationships. A former manager claimed they were told to rotate items in the bar visually, not by freshness. Just mix the old with the new and smooth it over. One guest posted a photo of their salad plate with a cherry tomato that had fully collapsed in on itself like it was reliving a trauma. Then there is the burger situation. Ruby Tuesday promotes its handcrafted burgers, but many locations receive their patties frozen and pre-seasoned. The grill marks sometimes pre-seared at the factory and reheated just long enough to wake them up. The buns delivered in bulk, sometimes stale before they hit the grill. Add to that the toppings kept in shallow pans, often uncovered during rush hour, and you have a sandwich that is more open to contamination than a public bathroom door handle. Their famous broccoli and cheese. It arrives frozen in blocks, gets microwaved, then hit with a splash of melted Vita-style sauce to make it look alive. But taste it, and you will know it is not cheese. It is denial. Health inspections have flagged locations for temperature issues in cold storage, improper glove use, and staff eating in prep areas. One viral complaint showed a worker reaching into a toppings tray with bare hands after sneezing. The manager solution, a paper towel and a head shake. Now slide over to Outback Steakhouse, a place where the theme is Australian, but the food is pure chain playbook. Those sizzling steaks, many are vacuum-packed and susied before ever touching the grill. That means they are boiled in a plastic bag, stored, and then quickly seared right before hitting your plate. It looks hot, it sounds fresh, but it is about as spontaneous as a PowerPoint presentation. The famous bloom and onion is less a recipe and more an industrial blueprint. Pre-scored onions arrive from a supplier already cut into petal formation. They are dipped into a powdered batter mix, frozen again for consistency, then dumped in oil. The fryer oil itself, employees have shared that it often goes days without being changed, leading to food that tastes like it has been cooked in regret. One former employee described the kitchen smell as onion meets footlocker. Outback's bread, the dark sweet loaf served before your meal, might feel like a warm homemade touch, but it is made off-site, shipped frozen, and thawed in bulk. If it arrives hard, they microwave it and pray. The butter, whipped margarine disguised with a decorative swirl. A shocking confession from a former kitchen manager revealed that steaks sometimes fall to the floor during plating, and unless someone sees it, it goes right back on the plate. Why? Because steak costs money. Apologies do not. The restaurant runs on speed, and if your filth hits the tile, so be it. Call it floor-aged. Health inspections at several locations have flagged issues like raw meat stored above vegetables, sinks backed up during service, and roaches spotted near the dry storage. One ex-employee said that on bad days they had to pep talk the food into looking edible before it left the pass and cleanliness. During rush hour, dishes sometimes stack faster than they can be washed. One worker said they were told to rinse plates with hot water and use the hottest one on top to kill bacteria. That is not a solution. That is a gamble with a garnish, but the biggest magic trick is pricing. You go in expecting premium steakhouse quality. What you get is pre-cooked beef, bagged sides, and desserts that come in frozen, sliced, and boxed. Yet somehow the check still looks like you just dined at a white tablecloth bistro because the name sells the experience. The true dinner is the illusion. You are not eating handcrafted meals. You are eating corporate systems pre-made, pre-cooked, pre-digested. If you consider how many times the ingredients have been thawed, held, and reheated, the customer might be dining in the present, but the food itself that is from the past and possibly the lost and found. Sometimes the scariest thing on your plate is not what you see, it is what you do not. Because the moment a restaurant gets good at appearances, the real danger is how easily we stop paying attention. And when dinner becomes a routine, so do the risks. If you have made it this far, you already know the pattern. Flashy menus, dim lighting, sizzling sound effects, and just enough garnish to keep you from asking what that meat was doing before it reached your table. So, let us finish strong with 2 more places where the price of dinner might be more than you bargained for. And the truth is not exactly listed in the ingredients. Say hello to IHOP, the International House of Pancakes. Except we are not here for breakfast. We are talking about dinner and what happens when you trust a place built on syrup to get serious about savory. Here's the secret most people do not know. A huge chunk of IHOP's dinner menu is just breakfast ingredients reassembled with new names. The roasted turkey dinner, that is lunch meat warmed on a flat top. The country fried steak, often frozen pre-breeded patties that arrive in plastic and take a nap in the deep fryer before being smothered in powdered gravy. Behind the scenes, the kitchen is less a kitchen and more a battlefield of growls, microwaves, and heat lamps. Several former cooks have admitted that their job was not really to cook, just to thaw, flip, and plate. One said the hash browns and mashed potatoes are made from the same dehydrated base. Add water and butter and hope nobody notices. Someone else posted a video of an omelet being filled with reheated pot roast. Yes, the same pot roast used in dinner entree. It looked like someone dropped a school lunch inside an egg and called it gourmet. One of the most telling signs, the side salads. Ask for one, and you might get lettuce with brown edges, a tomato slice that looks translucent, and croutons with a crunch of regret. A viral photo once showed a side salad with an unopened packet of dressing still frozen. The caption just said, "Dinner and a science experiment." Health inspection records from several IHOP locations have raised concerns over cross-contamination, food held at unsafe temperatures, and unwashed produce being prepped next to raw meat. One inspector noted that employees were using the same gloves to crack eggs, wipe down counters, and plate pancakes. That is not multitasking. That is a microbiology hazard. And do not even get started on the syrup containers. They sit out all day, get sticky, attract flies, and rarely get washed between shifts. One former server called them sweet little bacteria bombs. Another said they once found a fruit fly colony living under the cap. When they told the manager, the response was, "Just wipe it off." So, while IHOP may lure you in with comfort food charm, the truth behind that chicken dinner or steak omelet might leave you more nauseous than nostalgic. Dinner here is not a culinary experience. It is breakfast leftovers in a trench coat pretending to be something they are not. Final, let us close with one more chain that many trust without question. Applebee's, that neighborhood grill and bar where the appetizers are endless, the booths are always sticky, and the menu looks like it was designed by someone who just discovered adjectives. But here's the thing, the food. It is barely cooked in-house at all, more like warmed, flipped, and served with a marketing smile. Multiple former employees have confirmed that up to 90% of Applebee's food arrives frozen, vacuum-sealed, and pre-cooked. That sizzling skillet of fajitas, prepackaged meat, microwaved and spritzed with water to create the steam. The famous chicken tenders flash-fried from a bag. Even the pasta dishes often come with sauce packets that are reheated in hot water like instant soup. A viral clip once showed a cook cutting open a sealed bag of Alfredo sauce, pouring it over microwave noodles, then torching the whole thing in a pan for 30 seconds to make it look like it was cooked from scratch. One comment read, "This is not dinner. This is deception with a side of breadsticks." Even the drinks have stories. Bartenders have admitted that most of the colorful cocktails are made using bottom-shelf liquor and sugar-heavy mixes to cover the taste. One said the top shelf was only there to hold the cleaning supplies. The famous Blue Long Island, described by one reviewer as mouthwash and denial in a glass. Cleanliness is not exactly the strong suit either. Health reports from multiple Applebee's locations have flagged issues like dirty prep stations, moldy soda nozzles, and expired ingredients being used during rush hours. One former manager admitted they sometimes kept food in hot wells hours past safe limits just to avoid waste. That chicken quesadilla might come with cheese, salsa, and a side of salmonella. Another issue, reuse of garnishes, lemons, limes, parsley. If it does not look visibly rotten, it goes back in the tray. And while the presentation might pass for decent under lighting, those loaded nachos could be hiding more than melted cheese. But perhaps the most unsettling part is the illusion of hospitality. Applebee's markets itself as your neighborhood spot. Familiar, friendly, comfortable. But what it really offers is a highly engineered experience where the food is processed in a central facility. So what have we learned from this tour of disappointment disguised as dinner? From breakfast for dinner masquerades to microwave meals with candlelight, the common thread is clear. These 6 restaurants are not failing because of taste. They are failing because of trust. They rely on image over ingredients, consistency over care, and cost-cutting over common sense. And we have let them because convenience tastes good. Familiarity tastes good. But when the lights come on and you realize your steak was steamed in a bag and your salad was prepped next to a mop bucket, the appetite disappears. Dinner should not be a guessing game. It should not be a roulette wheel of expired sauces and thawed chicken strips. If this made you rethink your dinner plans, hit like and subscribe to the hidden menu because food should satisfy your cravings, not your curiosity about what went wrong. And remember, the truth isn't always served up with your order.